Okay, so it's time to talk about flower sand because there are there are two major glaring issues that I don't think they considered when they made this change. One has to do with the early player experience, and the other has to do with the late player experience. So, for those of you who don't remember, the September big patch changed the way in which Flower Sand basically operates, right? Before, this location right here used to be a whole lot closer to over there, where you could just basically walk up to it, you could farm it, and you could go. Extremely convenient at early levels. You could drive your sand bike to it. You can drive your buggy to it. You could land in your storage stopper if you had one. You could land in your assault. There were so many convenient ways that you could farm flower sand. You just pull up, break out your compactor, you get to work. When they made the change, two things became very, very apparent to me as somebody who creates a ton of tunes on the side. Number one, for low level characters, for people who have not created their thopters yet, like I am, I can just float in the air above this thing. But for people who have not created their thopters yet, farming flower sand has become unbearable. Because not only do you have to hope and pray that you're able to find one of the locations that is relatively close, driving distance wise, to ground. Think about it for a second. You compact flower sand, sandworm pops out, then you have to hop on your bike, then you have to drive all the way over here to shore, then you have to wait for the sandworm to leave, then you have to drive all the way back over here again. While you're driving, you're generating sandworm aggro, cutting down the amount of time you have to compact. Then the sandworm pops out, and you have to rinse and repeat this for at least 10, 15, 20 minutes of just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That is a miserable, miserable gameplay loop for new players to have to experience. For us older players, the ones who already have the thopters, the ones who already have the assaults, it just becomes tedious. I show up, I land, I get out, I run, I start to compact. Because I'm high level, I probably have one of the better compactors in the game. I begin to farm. I get as much flower sand as I can because I know that the sandworm's on his way. So I can't do big bulks anymore. I have to do in like small groups of maybe 10 or maybe 15. Move on to the next one. Heard an explosion. Not sure what the explosion is. What is that? I have no idea what that was just now. There's our friend the sandworm. We go into the air. We wait for the sandworm to come over here. Then he decides he doesn't want to be over here. Then we basically have to sit and wait for him to disappear. There's a level of tediousness that occurs. Now, you could say that, well, you can make it one big, long mission where you gather as much as you can. I know an assault can hold maybe 6,000 off the top of my head. That's two 999 stacks in the medium refinery, and then I think like an 800 stack in one small refinery if you have that inside of your base. Cool. But it's the ebb and flow. It's the down, gather, up, dodge the worm, down, gather, up, dodge the worm, down, gather, up, dodge the worm. At least when you're doing spice, spice is not that bad because relatively it's really quick for you to pick up the spice, and then move on to another location looking for spice. Another one of the changes that they made to the sandflower is that it operates now more like a spice field. So if you look around on the edges, you'll see that there's a lot of sandflower like along the edges. But if you were to fire one here, you get a small. And if you fired one here, you get nothing. Multiple people hitting up a sandflower bed at the exact same time burns through it so much quicker. Before, it actually felt like a bed of just, I wouldn't say endless stuff, but a lot of stuff that you were basically able to farm consistently without worrying about it ever running out anytime soon. Me just being here for just this video, I've already exhausted the entire center. Me being here for at least 5 or 10 minutes, I'd probably exhaust the entire thing, and then it's time for me to leave and move on to essentially another location. This change sucks. This change sucks for the beginning players that don't have the means to make this a simple and easy journey of just getting to the flower, getting over to the land, away from the worm, back to the flower, back to the land, back to annoying, and then it becomes even more tedious at higher levels where the loop of land, farm, dodge worm, land, farm, dodge worm, land, farm, dodge worm just becomes annoying. Save that type of shit for spice. Saving that for spice is 100% understandable because spice is like an end game thing. There's not that much of it, so the time in between for you doing it is pretty big. And usually the spice loop is happening in deep desert, and you had different things to worry about. And the spice loop on Haga was relatively easy and chillax. Fly in, land, farm up all the spice, sandworm may pop up, go into the air, land, pick up what's left, gone. I keep it moving. But for flower sand, something that's going to actually need me to be here, especially since it's a core building block for a lot of the things that we have to create in our base, low level lubricant, high level lubricant, multiple armor pieces, pieces for vehicles, things along those lines. We're going to be burning through flower sand a whole lot more. This change was not warranted. Put my flower sand back over here by where it used to be, next to the shore. Let me know what you guys think about this. Comment down below if you think that the flower sand change absolutely fucking sucked. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.